What's up, everyone, and how are you doing today? My name is Kelsey. I am your lifestyle and transformations coach here at Luna Wolf Healing. Make sure to subscribe. I upload videos every single week for your self-love, mindset, healing, and transformation tips. Now, in this week's video, I want to talk to you guys about generational trauma and how generational trauma really does impede on your self-discovery journey, meaning that trauma that has been passed down from generation to generation can stop you from being and even knowing who you truly are, fulfilling your true purpose and potential, and having a life filled with satisfaction and fulfillment. So one really wild fact about generational trauma that I have learned is that generational trauma can affect up to 7 generations. So that means your great grandparents and the traumas that they have could be affecting you today. I love making that gesture if you haven't noticed. And the reason why this can actually really make sense is because of the whole saying, monkey see, monkey do, right? So if your great grandparents were alcoholics and they coped with their challenges, with their obstacles, with their anger, with their sadness through alcohol, the chances of their children becoming alcoholics is higher, and then therefore the chances of their children becoming alcoholics is higher. And that's kind of that's the cycle. I know we're talking about generational trauma, but it doesn't necessarily have to be big traumas that we're talking about here either. When I was looking into my own lineage, into my own ancestry, into my own generational traumas, I started to recognize that there was more going on beneath the surface other than just mental health and addiction. Some other forms of generational trauma, again, not necessarily trauma, but it falls under the same category of things that have been passed down through generation to generation that are just not serving us, okay? And so some other examples that I have from my personal story is perfectionism and staying small, being made to feel as though that you can't take risks, that you have to stay safe and complacent in order to survive. Money has been a huge one. Scarcity around money has been a huge one that has been continuously passed down through generation to generation. Codependency is a really big one, especially on the women's side of my family, right? And I think this happens a lot in a lot of our histories just because of the history of women. So if you look at the history of women, a lot of women had to depend on their partners, their spouses, their husbands in order to survive. And so that trauma has been passed down through multiple families, but definitely has been seen within mine as well. So looking back, yes, I have addiction, mental health, and some abuse, generational trauma, but there's also perfectionism, staying small, scarcity mindset, codependency, and then even a bit too of the victim mindset as well. So it'd be interesting for you to see and to be open-minded. Check out what has been continuously passed down from generation to generation, and from there you can see what is not serving you and what is. Now let's circle back to how generational trauma will affect you in your self-discovery. Well, if you just kind of take a step back for a minute and look at generational trauma through the bird's eye view, right, you will see how if, as a child, for an example, you wanted to become a really successful veterinarian and travel the whole entire world to help animals, and your parents were like, no, that's impossible. Maybe you can be a vet here, but traveling around the world, that is just unrealistic. Or maybe, you actually wanted to be an artist and share your paintings with the world. But again, your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your teachers, they would all say to you, that isn't going to sustain you for your whole entire life. That's a really nice hobby to have, but you're gonna want to get a real job. So you can see how other people and the way that they were brought up and the beliefs that they have could impede on you and the actions that you're going to take. Now let's look at another aspect, right? Maybe you grew up with your mom and or your dad who would drink every single day, and especially if they had a hard day at work, especially if there was money issues in the house, right? So they were coping with their challenges and with those emotions through numbing. And that's what you got to watch and witness growing up. you got to see, oh, like, this is how it's done. This is normal. So then what do you start doing when you start to grow up and get older and start facing obstacles and challenges and money issues? You're gonna go to the bottle, potentially. And it's not necessarily that that is you, that is just what you've learned. Or maybe when you were a teenager, you started getting like really eccentric and started dressing really differently, right? Maybe because I was an adolescent in the 2000s, so maybe you were wearing those funky arm wrist covers with like the weird stripes and like the studded belt, and you know, getting a little goth emo or punk, or what, I don't like using labels, but you know what I mean? And then your parents come out and they're like, what the fuck are you wearing? What is that? My dad used to say, what is that bird shit on your eyes? So like, if your parents are talking to you like that when you're trying to like be yourself, it may put some beliefs in your mind that that is not okay. This is why having an awareness of your generational trauma is going to be really, really important for you moving forward in your self-discovery journey. When you're walking on your self-discovery journey, you're going to want to be able to be aware of and pick out like, oh, this belief is not mine. I don't have those views. Those aren't my morals. That's not what I want to believe. Like, you want to be able to sit there and be like, yep, this is mine. No, that's not. Yes, this is mine. No, this is not. And having that generational trauma, you want to look at how you were raised. You're going to want to look at how your parents were raised, right? So you can have that extra layer of awareness. And so that's going to be it for me this week, guys. This is a nice short and sweet video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm talking about generational trauma this whole entire week on my Instagram page, and I've also shared a podcast episode about it as well. So feel free to follow me at Luna Wolf Healing over on Instagram, where you can see some more information and posts on that. Check out Step 1, Your First Steps to Transformations podcast. It's just about everywhere. I shared a episode about generational trauma and my experiences all up on there. I do apologize for the audio. It was awful. New microphone coming in soon. Exciting. And please make sure to like, subscribe. All the links and all that jazz is going to be in the description box below. I upload videos every single week, so be sure to follow along, maybe even put on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And I will see you guys next week.